So, hello guys, welcome back to another live stream in our channel. And welcome, it's been quite a while since we actually did a live stream and also to have a video on Chelsea. And I'd like to apologize on that. I've been really held up with work and some engagements. I was not in town. So, let's just delve right into the topic of discussion. So, if you've joined us, you can please leave your comments if the audio is okay, if the visuals are okay, so that we can actually proceed with this live stream. And we have a lot to talk about with regards to Chelsea, with regards to overall where we actually expect Chelsea to be and where we actually seeing Chelsea is and the nature of the Premier League. So, hello from Zimbabwe. Are you able to get me quite well? Are you able to hear me quite well? Are you able to understand, see the video quite well? I'd really appreciate your feedback on that. So, let's just look into where Chelsea stand at the moment. So, Chelsea at the moment are third in the Premier League. They are 6 points behind Arsenal, and they're just 2 points behind Manchester City. So I can just share my screen to thank you very much, Nthusi, for your feedback over there. So Chelsea at the moment are sitting third in the Premier League table with 20 points. Chelsea have 11, have scored 21 goals and conceded 11. And when you look overall at the table, you realize that Chelsea have the third best goal difference, meaning that when you look at the ratio between the goals for and the goals against, you realize that Chelsea actually have the third best, just behind Manchester City and Arsenal. And when you look at what happened is that you realize that Chelsea have probably conceded the majority of the goals among the top six. So in the top six, Chelsea are the ones who have conceded majority. And that says a lot about what we have seen from Chelsea this season. And when you still look at this stat, you realize that there is also an incredible stat for Chelsea. And I just want to show you this so that you can understand that the stats for Chelsea, when you look at the Premier League table, will not necessarily give you the honest look of the season. So when you look at the number of goals scored, Chelsea at the moment is currently seated second behind Manchester City and have only scored 2 fewer goals than Manchester City. But there's something that is so different between Chelsea and Manchester City. With Manchester City, out of the 23 goals that they have scored, 14 goals, I repeat again, 14 goals that have been scored by Manchester City have been scored by one player, and that is Erling Haaland. And that is quite interesting because when you look at that same stat with Chelsea, you realize that there's no single player who's holding majority of the goals share in Chelsea. No, there's only different amount of players that are holding it. So yes, hello Christian, it's nice to see you. So when you look at that stat, you realize that only Chelsea is the only team that is so diverse, because you realize that Estevao has a couple of goals, Neto has a couple of goals, João Pedro has a couple of goals, even Palmer has scored this season, Reece James has scored, Caicedo has scored, Fernandes has scored. So you realize that it's only Chelsea that is so diverse. They are not relying on one player when it comes to the contribution of goals. So that's why I'm looking at this goal stat and I'm like, if somebody told me that, if somebody told me in the beginning of the season that in November, that Palmer will miss actually 3 months of football, I would be shocked. I would be asking myself, how are Chelsea going to score? How are Chelsea going to create chances? But if that same person will tell me that probably the bad news is Palmer will be away for 3 months, but the good news is that Chelsea will actually be second when it comes to goals scored, then I'd be super shocked, because I would be like, what has actually happened? So keep it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll be looking to do videos tomorrow. I know it's been quite a while since I've done videos, but I've just been, my week has just been super tight. So We can just converse through this point. So if somebody tells you that probably Chelsea will have the second most goals scored, then you'll be like, wow, that is quite impressive. And when you look at it, you realize that Chelsea have even scored more goals than teams like Arsenal. And look at Liverpool, which was one of the best attacks last season, has only scored 18. And if somebody tells you that despite Liverpool spending close to 500 million euros, Chelsea would have scored more goals. And remember, Liverpool have procured Ekitike, Liverpool have procured Isak, and still Chelsea are high up the table when it comes to the goals scored. And this showcases something fundamental about Chelsea this season. The problem has not been Chelsea going forward. The problem has been going back. But the question is, this problem of Chelsea actually at the back? Because when you look at the front line, and I've explained to you that Chelsea is the only team amongst the top 6 clubs at the moment which has conceded more goals. So it means that Chelsea have had a defensive problem. So the question is, have Chelsea been super poor defensively? And that is what is going to take us to our next metric that we are going to check. So that is what we call the goals. Now, I want us to look at the expected goals, because the expected goals will also show us something quite different. Now, when you look at the expected goals, now you get the real picture, because expected goals is generally obtained from looking at the shots that the team has, looking at the nature in which those shots are made, and trying to analyze, were these shots being taken in a situation where Chelsea are actually more likely to score? So you fail to see something. Chelsea has one of the best defensive records. Look at the stats. Chelsea does not have. Yeah. I'm going to get to that, Christian. I just wanted to explain something, because I will explain why Chelsea have that huge negative goals against, but that does not actually show that Chelsea have a defensive problem. I'm going to explain that just in a few. I just want to handle the goal situation. So when you look at the goal situation, you realize that out of the top 6, out of all 20 Premier League teams, Chelsea has the best attack. And this attack is lacking key players such as Liam Delap, who was out injured throughout, Cole Palmer, who has been out injured. And this showcases that Maresca has made a team that is so dynamic that has actually managed to even reach a point where it's actually helps us to analyze and understand where Chelsea are in terms of their attacking output. Now, the second team that follows Chelsea is Manchester City with 19.51, meaning that Manchester City have exceeded their XG with more than 4 goals. And that just shows how Haaland is. That shows how Haaland is, how prolific Haaland is. And that will actually help us to understand. But Chelsea also have not underperformed their XG, because when you look at their XG, Chelsea have actually been around their XG. So Chelsea are actually getting what they actually asked for when it comes to their expected goals. So I wanted to move to the next stat that actually really gave me something quite different. And let's look at the assists. And when you look at the assists, you find that Manchester City has 19, Tottenham has 16, and Chelsea have 15. So you can clearly understand there is a bit of issue with what we call the chance creation. But when you look at the goals are quite different. So you probably get the goals are being found from when you I don't think we've had a lot of penalties this season. So you can find that the goals are being gotten through counter pressing. So Chelsea have transformed their chance creation from out and out using a creative player and using the counter press. And the counter press is super impressive, because Jurgen Klopp once said the best number 10, nothing beats the counter press. And if you want to understand what Klopp meant with that, is that you look at Liverpool, you look at Manchester City. Manchester City had De Bruyne, and De Bruyne at that point was the best creative player in the league. probably in Europe. But Liverpool did not have that creative flair. But Liverpool had a workaholic midfield. They had Fabinho, they had Henderson and Ronaldo. And that midfield was so dynamic in springing out, winning that ball, and giving the ball to the likes of Mo Salah and Sadio Mane in a position where they were so strong to actually effect that counter press. And we saw in that Tottenham Hotspur game when Chelsea won that game 1-0, you realize that the way that goal comes, it comes from a strong counter press from Moises Caicedo. And even when you look at the Wolves game, you realize again that chance actually happens from a strong counter press. So it means that Chelsea have been superb with the way they have been able to close down the ball, especially when they lose the ball. So that is one thing. So we move on to the next statistics. And the next statistics that I want to look at is this one here, which I believe is super, super important. And that statistics is the clean sheet. Now, this is going to answer something that Christian had actually raised. Christian had actually raised that the issue with Chelsea is not the defense. Yeah. The issue with Chelsea is not the defensive structure. The way Maresca has said the team, there is no issue defensive structure. Chelsea have what we call an individual defensive problem. Individual defensive problem, meaning that Chelsea have conceded 11 goals. And I actually want to look at the XGA. So let me just check at the FBref and actually look at what we call the XGA. Since the XGA is going to give us the number of goals that Chelsea are actually supposed to have conceded. So when you look at the XGA, when you look at the XGA, you're going to realize something quite different with regards to how Chelsea are actually playing. So just a minute. This is showing individual players. I want to get the XGA because I know the XGA is going to actually answer this question quite well, especially when we look at Chelsea. Just a minute. Because with Chelsea, the issue has not necessarily been about the level of the attack. No, the issue has always been about the defensive situations and against. Yeah. Here it is. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting that start. Yeah, so when you look at the XGA, when you look at Chelsea's XGA, just a minute. I'm really trying to get that stat and I'm not getting it. But I'm actually trying to get it because it's super, super important for us to understand the XGA when it comes to just a minute. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So I think actually we have to give credit to Robert Sanchez. So the XGA is saying that Chelsea should have conceded 13 more goals. So we are actually overperforming our XGA. We should have conceded 13 goals, but we ended up conceding 11 goals. So that looks like it's more about individual brilliance that has really saved us. So who decides the so-called XG? Is it Sir Alex Ferguson that decides this? Or who sets this stat number? Numbers aside, what do you see there? How do you Christian, what I can say about the XG is that you see the XG is usually calculated in form of what is the chance of this person actually scoring. When you analyze football in that kind of situation, probably if strikers get a penalty, let's say in a penalty always has an XG of 0.75, meaning that in every penalty, there is a 75% chance that it's going to be converted and a 25% chance that it's going to be saved. So whenever your team concede a penalty, then the opponent already has a 0.75 as their XG to score. But if your goalkeeper scores, then it means that your goalkeeper has really outperformed his XG, because that is a goal that he should have conceded, but he has actually overperformed his XG because he has actually stopped something that is more of a certain goal. You'll find that a tap in the 6-yard space is actually 0.90, meaning that out of all tap-ins scored, it has a 90% chance of actually ending up behind the net. So in that scenario, you realize that if a striker misses that chance, it means that this striker in the long run is actually underperforming his XG. So when you look at that situation, it's telling you that Chelsea actually have been giving the opponents chances that has actually made Chelsea to be in a vulnerable position. But what I have to say is that I can classify this to that transfer window between the Brentford game all the way to the Liverpool game. I think that is where Chelsea actually conceded a lot of goals. That's where Chelsea conceded 3 against Brighton. They conceded 2 against Manchester United. They conceded 2 against Brentford. I think that is the time. 3 plus 2 plus 2. Those were 7 goals. And out of just those 3 games out of 11, Chelsea conceded over, I think, 7 out of 11 is like around 65% of their goals. So 65% of the goals that Chelsea have conceded them in 3 games. The Brentford game, the Brighton game, and the Manchester United game. So when you look at that scenario, you realize that these things have all what we call individual brilliance problem. Like in a situation where the Sunderland game, that means when you analyze the Sunderland second goal, you realize that only a certain the XG was so low for Sunderland to score that goal, and it was all about the poor individual performance by Chalobah and Tosin. So the poor individual performance of Chalobah and Tosin, who had numerical advantage over that player, did not manage to sweep in, win that ball, and stop that goal from being conceded. No, they didn't do that. So that is what resulted in Chelsea actually underperforming their XG, because they actually allowed that goal to be scored. That is one of the most avoidable goals. When you look at the Brentford goal that was scored by Shade, a good defender actually stops that goal, but Tosin was so poor that he could not stop that goal. When you look at the Fulham goal, you realize that Tosin, again, his body alignment and his sloppiness was not able to actually stop that goal. So when you look at those stats, and when you look at this clean sheet stat, you realize that Chelsea have had 5 clean sheets. And that means that when you look at the change, you realize that this change has happened, especially in games before this transfer break, international break. So it started with the let me just check the fixtures so that I can be able to confirm this. So the first game before the international break was Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. That was the first game. So you realize that the Nottingham Forest game, Chelsea kept a clean sheet. The Tottenham game, Chelsea kept a clean sheet. The Wolves game kept a clean sheet. So this change and sudden improvement of Chelsea has resulted from the last 3 games. So if you look at those 5 clean sheets, 3 of that clean sheets have been gotten in the last 3 games. In the Fulham game, no, in the Tottenham game, in the Wolverhampton game, and in the, what is the third game? Tottenham, Wolves, and just a minute, and Nottingham Forest. Yeah. So 3 out of the last 5 clean sheets have actually been gotten in the last 4 games. So it's clear that post this international break, the performance of Chelsea, especially when it came to those clean sheets, actually happened. But what fascinates me about that is that when you look at those three games in particular, you realize one thing: the centre back partnership did not make individual errors. Now, in the Nottingham Forest game, it was super unique because when you look at that Nottingham Forest lineup, you realize that it was Chaloba and Josh Achingpong who are actually playing as the centre back partnership. When you look at the Tottenham game, it was the Wesley Fofana Chaloba. When you look at the Wolves game, it was the Wesley Fofana Chaloba. So that shows one thing, that Chelsea have really, really been performing quite well when it is a centre back partnership of Chaloba and Fofana. That means that Fofana, the presence of Wesley Fofana in that defense, is what has actually changed the scenario for Chelsea. Meaning that if you probably have Wesley Fofana in those games previously, probably Chelsea do not concede more goals. So you can see that just the introduction of one player is able to transform the way Chelsea are actually looking to play. Then I want to look at the final stat, and that is the I want to also look at the possession, and I want to look at the passes, and what we call the overall successful passes. So when you look at also the successful passes, look at the two teams that are topping that chart, and you can see that the two teams that are topping that chart is Manchester City and Chelsea, showcasing that Chelsea have really improved in the way they are dominating it. So when you look at overall majority of these stats, you realize that Chelsea is in the top three. Chelsea is number 1, 2, and 3. And now let's answer that question. So can Chelsea actually mount a title charge? That's a very huge question, because when you look at all the stats, you realize that in all the stats, Chelsea is in the top three. Chelsea is in the top three. Goals scored in the top three. Clean sheets in the top three. Passes in the top three. Chance creation in the top three. So it means that overall, Maresca has really done a splendid job. And the only way that Maresca can actually look to solidify his position is that Chelsea have actually been the third best team in the league. The third best team in the league. And the problem only came for Chelsea when they were in that period where they were picking red cards left, right, and center. I think that is the time that Chelsea really fell off. But after the international break, and if Chelsea can carry the momentum they had before the international break, then automatically you can realize that there is that gradual improvement of the team. There's that gradual improvement of the team. And that will answer the question. Are Chelsea ready to take on teams like Arsenal and Manchester City? So I'd like to invite Christian to actually give his opinion on that.
Jumbo, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Long time no hear.
Yeah. I've been super busy, super held up, but I said
Yeah.
that I'm going to do everything
Oh, God bless.
to
Hey,
be
that's
here
good.
today.
You're busy. At least you're busy, which is the most important thing. A young guy
Yeah.
like you should always be busy. Very
Okay.
important, because when young people like yourself are not busy, they start doing bad things. So this is good for young people like you. Keep them busy, then they behave. They don't go around doing nonsense things. And yeah, I've been listening, and I didn't want to jump in because I want to listen to you always have a very fantastic presentation. And I'll be honest with you. You lost me once you started going on about XG, XGA, XPF, CF. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I was just listening to it. Say, this guy, he sounds like a robot. Okay, and whatever happened to common sense? Whatever happened to just watch football for the pleasure of watching football? You use your eyes to make your assumptions. You don't need computers. You don't need stats and what have you. You can see from your eye test. You were just talking about the defensive pairing there of you say Chalobah and Fofana. You could have said that without looking at any stats. Your eye test would said those two seem to function very well. It does not function very well with Tosin, for example, or some others. Those two, for whatever reason, is a good combination. Even you could throw an Achimpong there in there as well. So you didn't really look to need for X something, whatever. I don't know, whatever.
Hello. Hello. I think I've probably lost you, or you've probably lost me.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Okay. You went quiet.
No, sorry, but the question was, who sets the level? Who sets these stats? Who decides what Chelsea's expectations must be? Who's in charge of this?
Okay. Okay. So there is what we call there is this thing that they have introduced in football called sport science, and it's a kind of modeling, something probably like that is done probably by actuaries. So you find that they like to model and look at probably how the maybe the business side of things are. And in football now, you'll realize one thing is that they when you introduce things like xg and xga, it actually shows you the picture of the game. So for example, if you find that your team is creating more chances, maybe let's say the xga, the xg, meaning that the number of goals that your team should have scored probably is around 50, but you find that your team has scored 65, then it means that your attackers are overperforming, meaning that they are having long range shots, they are scoring from angles where you don't expect them to score. When you probably find that your XG is around 70 goals a season, and you find that your team has scored 50 goals that season, then it shows that the team has really not been so clinical in front of goal, and therefore that can influence the club to actually look at which players can we actually bring in so that they are able to convert the chances that we create. So I
Oh,
think
okay,
that's why that yeah.
if this XG of yours was so fantastic, how the hell did they end up with kittens?
First of all, what I can say is that first of all, what I can say is that when you look at the profile of Jamie Gittens, he's a wide winger, he's right
Mhm.
footed, he's very fast, and he likes to take on players. And just as you've always talked about young players, it's all about giving them time. Like Ganacho looked so horrible
That's
in his
true.
first games, but you can see that the more he's settling in, the more he's getting his confidence. You're now seeing him playing so well. So with the young players, I think that it's all about giving them time. Not every player is Estevao, not every player is Cole Palmer. So I think with young players, we
What
just
happened?
need to
What
give.
happened to you? You were suddenly a champion of the young players. What happened to you? What happened to you? My God, this is very refreshing. This is music to my ears. But with
Yeah,
Canacho, to be fair to Canacho, no, the guy didn't have match fitness. He hadn't played in a long time, so he
yeah,
needed like kilometers in his legs or whatever we say, miles in his legs. And so now that he's coming up to speed, he's looking more and more toxic. That guy, I think. Wow. Okay, is this going to be? Is this the dangerous Canacho we once saw under Ten Hag at United? If we can get just 80-90% of that player, then Chelsea have made a good deal. But he's still a work in progress. He's still got to find his teammates. Still got to fit in. Where does he run? How does he run? Which you still it's all this automation. Where you okay, if he runs there, I run here, and whatever that kind of thing. There, when you come to a new team, that takes time. And Gittins, maybe the expectation, the weight of expectation was just too much. So maybe, as you say yourself, give him time. Maybe he will come good. But the competition for places in Chelsea is savage. I mean, that is cutthroat. You play one bad game, you're out of there, and there's not a very good environment for a young guy. You're not allowed to make any mistakes. Basically, so you make a mistake, bad game, you out of there. Look, go and ask Achimpong how he got treated, or go and ask Tariq George or all the other young guys. You have one half bad game, then you out 4 or 5 games. So that atmosphere is not. You're better off playing maybe in Bournemouth or Wolves or somewhere a smaller team as a young guy, because then you'll be picked every time. But at Chelsea, they expect you, level expectations, and this is where I don't need XG. I can just tell you the level of expectations at a top six club. When I say top six club, the Uniteds, the Cities, the Arsenals, Tottenham, whatever, Liverpool's, and all these other teams. There's a certain expectation. There's a certain limit. There's a certain standard you have to live up to. If you can't, It doesn't matter about the XGs and BBs and what have you. You're out of there. You're going to Strasbourg, or you're going to wherever they send you to, out to pasture, out to pasture, and it sounds horrible. And then you know how it is. Once you're out on these Strasbourgs and these other teams, it's very, very hard to come back into the squad. They're basically the next transfer window. They're looking to make profit. They're looking to make profit, to offload you. And this is now also another part of the thing you probably have to mention. That it's Chelsea's a business. So these new owners, it's not like Abramovich who just had this as a hobby. These
But
guys are sorry.
yeah, but I think that looking at the way the clubs are, is that majority of the clubs are moving towards what Chelsea is doing. I'm seeing Liverpool trying to adopt that structure, that multi-club model. I'm seeing Arsenal are also looking into it. Manchester City are actually doing the same thing with Girona. I think the notion, the information that I got is that because of the tight PSR rules, it's actually help making it difficult to actually sign top players. And the top players now, you'll realize that generally, even when you look across football, the overall wages of players has really dropped. We had a situation where Lionel Messi was getting 1.2 million probably a week. You have players like Mbappe going to 900s of thousands, Neymar earning 800,000, and that's just money that they earn in a week. And then now you're finding that even players like Caicedo, the most they're earning is 150,000 a week, and that is probably one of the top earners at Chelsea. So
No, but
teams are now
hang on.
moving into.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt you. You got to put that into context. So you say he's only 150 a week, but he's on an 8-year contract and his money is guaranteed. So in other
Yeah,
words,
yeah, this,
if somebody comes and steals one of his legs and he never plays football again, for the next 8 years he's getting paid. So he's still a big wage.
but
Sorry.
but that is on the extreme. Like that is the probability of that happening. Okay, it can happen, but the probability is quite low.
Yeah, but you can lose form. You can have
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah, you
measles
can
or
lose.
you
You
know
can lose that form.
you go
But
you have yellow fever or something. I don't know whatever. What do they have? A dengue fever? What do they have in Central America? That malaria, that special malaria. I've forgotten it. You can have something which will sideline you for 2 years. It's not unthinkable. You go but you're still getting paid. So my point is that it
but
might
those
sound
those
yeah.
but those are certainly in the extreme areas. So I think that is the reason why a lot of clubs are doing that. And then we cannot say that Chelsea is now business. Like all these football clubs are just business. It's an entertainment industry. It's just like having a blockbuster movie. Now you're just having football every week. It's all about entertainment. So
Yeah,
it's a
but hang on.
business. That's why people are
The
pouring money there.
last transfer window, how much income did Chelsea generate from the sales of players, and how much they spend? That is for sure a big business, because if you look at the net spend, it was basically zero, and they
But
offloaded players, and so it is a business. So whether you like it or not, it is they're thinking that way. That okay, the net spend, especially like Chelsea, the all eyes are always looking at Chelsea. The moment Chelsea even sneezes, the fines are there, the suspensions, the points deduction or whatever they're threatening, because they don't like Chelsea. They still think that Chelsea is a gate crasher to the top six. So when Chelsea has to do things by the book, by the letter of the law, while other teams, they can get away with Chelsea and other teams. You can look at Nottingham Forest, or what was the other team that had points deducted for minor Everton? Was it Everton? I think. So they'll throw the book at those teams. And they've tried with Chelsea, but at Chelsea, obviously, they have very good lawyers, and they know exactly how to handle this business. But they've tried. UEFA didn't. UEFA didn't they ban Chelsea 2 transfer windows or something when Frank Lampard was there? Couldn't sign any players for that. So Chelsea is always under attack from the authorities.
so Christian, I wanted to get your opinion based on the title chances that Chelsea have.
I knew you
So
were going to
that
ask me. I knew you were going to ask me this. You're going to throw me under
because
the
because
bus.
yeah, because we want to align to that topic, because when you look at the stats, everything, the possession stats, the goal
Mm,
stats, the
mm,
clean sheet stats,
mm.
and probably just the defensive stats, but I've said that out of the 11 goals, 7 were conceded in 3 games, and in those 3 games, 2 of them we got a red card. It was that period where we were getting red cards. So
Can I answer this
out
question
of
when can I answer this question when December's finished?
yeah,
because we
oh, okay.
because Chelsea in
So
December
I'm not saying that we are okay. We are literally in a title race until we are out of it. That's how it
but
is.
but that is 6 points is nothing. 6 points is nothing. Arsenal's still got to play the other top teams, and the way
Yeah.
Chelsea.
That's why I'm saying.
And if you look at
That's why
Chelsea, if you look at Chelsea, sorry to interrupt you. If you look at Chelsea, the wins we've had this season, they haven't. For me, it doesn't feel. It feels like they haven't reached their top level. It's still. It looks like they're still a work in progress, and I still see that. I still think that we haven't seen the very best from Chelsea yet. And I think if they hit this top level, if they get to where I think they should be with that, then I think Arsenal better be scared because Chelsea, once they get this what you call it, like a dog gets a bone, it won't let it go. And Arsenal, as we know, they have this history of choking in January, February. So, but it all depends on Chelsea how we do. We choke. We mustn't lie. We mustn't point fingers. December is not a good month for Chelsea. So that is.
yeah,
I don't know. He's like he's there. He's got more.
yeah,
He knows. He knows
yeah.
better than me.
I just wanted to, after you explain, I introduce him. So I think the December period, I think by Christmas we'll get a clear picture,
Yes.
because we're expecting Cole Palmer to be back. I
But
hope Thomas Tuchel now stops playing Rhys James. He's already qualified for the World Cup. He just needs to allow Rhys James to rest.
But
That's
Cole
my
Palmer hasn't
opinion.
played. He hasn't played in 3 months. So how long does it take for him to get match fitness, to get his rhythm, to
I think
find
now he's training. Now he's training. He's training at the moment.
what happened to him?
At
What
home.
happened to him? What happened to him?
He had a groin injury. Then he was about to come into this window. Then you saw the video when Hato just came and jumped on him.
Wow.
These are clumsy players in this club. And then once he jumped on him after that Liverpool game, Palmer held his groin. I think he really hurt Palmer there, because I think Palmer had just had a minor surgery over there. So yeah, I think that really set him back. So,
I just
some
think
players,
it's a very, very, very good squad. This Chelsea squad, and I know
yeah.
you guys. I know you guys always like shiny new toys and all that, but I,
But I'm happy with the attack. I think the young Brazilian player Estevao has really stepped up. He has really stepped up. Even that Wolverhampton game, we won it 3-0. I think Estevao came in and changed that game, because he came in just 53 seconds, he assisted the second goal. And once you've scored the second goal, you're taking away the game. Remember, imagine playing Wolves and then entering that final stage of a game around the 80th minute and you're just 1-0 up. That is when Chelsea gets this bozo moment and you find them drawing that game 1-1. So I always want that second goal. I'm always like, okay, we have scored the first goal, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't trust this team.
but if I
I
ask
want.
you, jokes aside, jokes aside, we talk about the squad. If I ask you, for me, if you ask me, where is the weakness in this Chelsea squad? So it's definitely not in the defense. They've got
I
many
think the
defenders.
centre back.
No,
I think
they got
the
I know, and even though not even there, they've got maybe the cover for Kukurea. That's one, but he's as long as he stays fit, is good. At right back, they have options. So I know the manager loves what's my phrase? This French guy, what's his name?
Gusto.
Gusto. He loves him. He says that he's the most important player of the team. Blah blah blah. Okay, I'll take the manager's word for it. But for me, where it's pretty obvious where Chelsea have a problem, and I know you don't want to hear the word problem, but it's a centre forward. So Delap somehow is not good enough. Two, if you look at Pedro João, or whatever his name is, João Pedro, he's not that guy. He's not that centre forward, and it looks that's the only weakness in that Chelsea squad is in the centre forward role there. Delap
I see but you see the thing that the likes of João Pedro and Dilap is Delap has been quite out, so I cannot judge him based on the few games that he has played. Because even in the Club World Cup, he got a red card and he didn't play a lot. He has not been playing a lot, so I'll give him time. The thing with Joao Pedro is that I also get angry when I see him walking on the pitch. But what I can say is that there's a way he plays that actually brings other players into the team, into the game. Players like Fernandez, players like Estevao. He has a very good connection with Estevao. So I think when it comes to goal scoring opportunities, we are not missing chances as such. And when it comes to even our stats, when it comes to goal scored, I think we are okay. Yes, I know probably you do. People, the fans would want a Haaland who's banging hat tricks and tearing down defenders, but
but it's I don't know, and we're interesting to see when Cole Palmer comes up back.
yeah,
How
yeah,
how will he fit in this team? You know, this team has changed. They built the team. This team now it can play without Cole Palmer. They don't need him. So how
yeah.
he's got to somehow reinvent himself. He's got to work hard to actually make the team because there is with Cole Palmer, he's a bit of a luxury player. So you will have if you have Cole Palmer back, a luxury player, he doesn't track back or defend, and then you've got Pedro João, another one who doesn't track back and defend. Now you've got suddenly two players who are luxury players, and you know this is a defense.
But with Palmer, I've seen him actually defending. But just sorry to cut you short. I just want to give Isaac something to even say hi and give us his opinion on the title of the live. Isaac, how are you and how are you doing?
Hi Tyrone, hi Christian.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
have your camera on when you're talking. We want to see you.
Salut, salut,
You want to
salut.
see my jersey?
Yeah, we want to see you. Yeah,
Bonsoir,
hello.
It is.
bonsoir, bonsoir, salut, salut.
Bonsoir, comment ça va?
Très bien.
You are improving your French.
I
That's
am
fine.
trying. I always try. I'm improving my French and I'm improving my Swahili. Both of them.
That's good. That's good. So you have discussed so many interesting things. I will just start by the last topic regarding Cole Palmer. So I'm so happy the way the team played, the way they managed all the games without Cole Palmer. That is a very good thing. Then I was thinking the same way as Christian that I don't want the return of Cole Palmer to change the our starting 11 as we are playing. Yes, Cole Palmer is not a substituted player, but I don't want because of Cole Palmer to change like all the plan. For instance, if we want to play Cole Palmer as number 10, you see what can change is that maybe they can take Fernandez out to keep Joao Pedro and Delap. Maybe they might keep Fernandez and they put Joao Pedro out and to bench Delap, something like that. So yes, Cole Palmer can play, but I don't want that because of Palmer to change like everything on the pitch. So we have a team current now who is playing well, who is winning games. Then we have now to introduce Cole Palmer. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Then
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
regarding
get you.
Mhm.
Oh, you are okay. Okay, you can
Yeah.
finish. You can finish.
Regarding our if we are in the title race, yes, I keep hope that we are in the title race. We are not so bad. Of course, I sometimes as fans we want much and much better our team to be. I remember the tweets or the posts, Tyron, you make, I think, 1 or 2 weeks ago that when you brought out the statistics of the team and you said that sometimes our team, I forget the word you use, or the fan, we are so We are so
entitled.
So we are so entitled.
yes. So actually, overall, we are good, but we are just speaking a lot because of bad performance. As I remember Brentford games, the way we draw that games and then we lost at Bayern Munich, that for me it was a shock. It was a shock. We should not manage the games like that.
You
And
wanted Maresca gone. You wanted Maresca gone.
yes,
Gone.
yes. Because for me, I think we should win the game we have and not thinking about the next game. And
That
that
one
the result was that
we
we
thought
lose two
about the next.
points against Brentford, and then we lose 3 points against Bayern Munich. That was
Yeah,
unfair. And then I
I
also
really agree with you with that. I
I
really agree
also
with you with
remember
that.
what Maresca did when we were playing Manchester United. So for me, even with 10 men on the pitch, we could manage either to draw or to win that game. But because of Maresca, those substituted, it take out Estevao and Pedro Neto. So for me, it brought some doubts
But can I can
in
I
me.
can I ask Isaac? Can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
Is it, if you compare Arsenal to Chelsea, so
Mhm.
Arsenal, everything is like a train on track. Everything is going full steam ahead. Everything is very nice. Dilly dong, dilly dong. Or what did the guy say from Leicester? The guy, the Italian guy. He said dilly dong, dilly dong. Yeah, dilly dong, dilly dong. But they haven't faced any, let's say, uphill struggle, any bad games where they've had to work hard. Chelsea, we've had this where you said yourself, we played some bad games, but we've learned. You know, both the manager has learned to adopt his system. The players have learned that okay, you really, really got to work hard. So I just think defeats aren't always such a bad thing. They actually improve you as a team.
Yeah, actually, before you said also something which I agree with you is that we have not seen yet a best of Chelsea, not. And I think
Okay, just
the
sorry, sorry.
best moment is coming. The best moment is coming. I think when we keep Fofana fit, when we have all Cole Palmer fit, so we can see much better than what we've seen from the beginning of this season. Then the way Arsenal is fighting for the title, I think the way they are fighting for the title, that is the things they are failing to win the title. See, they are just, they have, of course, you can be motivated, but their motivation is now high than the expectation. See, when they are on the pitch, they are fighting. Yes, we have to fight on the pitch. And I remember Pep Guardiola calmed them down, saying that you cannot win the title in November.
Uh-huh.
Because for them, they were like, they have 6 points up front and they think they are top. Or when you see Chelsea, we lose some games, we draw some games. But if you see in the attitude, the team, the entire team and the players, they are like, they are calm. They are
Yeah,
learning
so
from, yes, Taylor.
yeah. Sorry to interject you, and you've really pointed out something that is super important. Arsenal are going for the league with a lot of pressure. Like
Yes.
the pressure is on them, that you've come second 3 times, and it's your time to win. When you look at the depth, when you look at the squad, everybody is tipping them to be the strongest team. And I think that might weigh down on Arsenal because the expectation is too high on them. Then there's one thing that Pep actually said that I'm looking at it and I'm like, thank you very much. Somebody's from the coast region. Thank you very much for joining us. So there's something that Pep actually said that I really liked. And Pep said What matters is where you are when it is actually the final run. That is what matters. And when you notice one thing about Manchester City, every time they have won the Premier League title, the first leg, Guardiola always ensures that the team ahead of him is just maximum 6 or 5 points ahead of him.
Mhm.
That is what he
Yes.
always ensures. He he
You
doesn't
noticed.
he
Wow.
doesn't allow he doesn't allow. You can even find during Christmas he's just his second. Look at what he did to Liverpool twice. Liverpool were top of the league in Christmas, but they didn't win the league because Guardiola understands that when it comes to that final stretch, game week 25 all the way to game week 38, that is when he requires perfection for his team. That is when he wants to even go into a 15-game winning streak or a 13-game winning streak, because that is what you need. That's why I'm saying when I'm looking at Chelsea where they are 6 points behind Arsenal. We have to play Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. And we are playing Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. I've seen Gabriel has been injured. And I think that if we don't have red cards, and if we have our team, if we have Fofana, if we have Chaloba, if we have Rhys James, we have Kukurea, we have Caicedo, we have Fernandez, we have Estevao, we have Neto, then we have Cole Palmer, then that the other wing, we have probably even Garnacho. I think if we have a strong lineup in that game, and maybe I can think that Maresca will go for that. Maresca might decide to start both Gusto and Rhys James. I have mocked that lineup, but that lineup has looked to be super great against top teams. Every time we are playing a top team, he's always starting Rhys James and Gusto in the same
As a
game. I'm
midfielder.
asking him, yeah,
Yes.
he's always doing that, and I'm like, what is this guy thinking? On paper, it looks like it's crazy, but on the pitch, it works. And I'm like, okay, if it is working, it's no problem. So I think that this is the best time to actually have a player like Nani. Christian is saying that his phone is overheating. Christian, is your phone okay now? Hello, Christian. Somebody's asking me. Nice shirt. This shirt, I think, was back in the 90s. Thank you very much. Christian has popped out. His phone is overheating. So, Isaac, that is what I'm saying. That Pep has always ensured that he's always there. He's not far away. He's always there because he knows that this team that is ahead of me, I'm going to get it. And once I get it, I will ensure that I beat it. That has always been Pep's mantra. He's always ensured that the teams that are ahead of him, he's always beating them. And that is what has actually managed to separate him from all the other teams. So I think both Christian and Isaac dropped. I think they probably have some issues just trying to reach them. So that is what is super important. What is super important, it does not mean that you win the league in October or you win the league in December. No. Just ensure that in that time around March, you are only 3 points or 4 points behind the one who's top of the league. And then now you start hunting them down. Now you start going for them. Now you start hunting them down. And teams like Arsenal actually capitulate. That is what we have seen. Teams like Arsenal have actually capitulated. You always find that whenever they are faced with this difficult situation, you always find that Arsenal players are playing under pressure. They don't want to lose. They look at a loss as something that is actually denying them the title because they have been so close, yet they have been so far from the title. And I think that is one thing that will really be Arsenal's Achilles heel. They need to take the league with less pressure. If they play with all this pressure, all this thing, when they look at dropped points and they're so angry, I think that is one thing that is actually going to mess Arsenal up. And Chelsea, I am saying that Chelsea are really, really improving. And the main thing is that it's better you start bad and you improve than you start great and then you decline. So I have seen Chelsea improving step by step, journey by journey, walking by walking, moving and moving. And as they move gradually, they have managed to actually improve. And that's why when you look at the last 4 games, you look at that Sunderland defeat and you realize that that was an individual brilliant individual problem from the center backs. But when you look at the Nottingham Forest game, you realize that even the Karabakh game where Chelsea dropped points in the Champions League, that was an individual errors. I think Hato really played poorly in that game, and Maresca's selection for that game was bad. But when you notice is that there is a systematic increase in the way the team are actually looking to play, and that is something that is really, really good when it comes to actually having this team. So, Isaac, I was explaining that the main thing for Chelsea is actually having that systematic rise, that ability to move from here heading on to the other side. And I was talking about Chelsea need to be in that position when it matters. They need to ensure that their gap between them and that who's leading the league is not quite far.
Yes, you are right. As you mentioned, the gap now is 6 points, and we have the next game at Stamford Bridge on 30th of this month. We need to win that game. Of course, the gap is there of 6 points. Arsenal is the leader, but if we win, if we want also to be in the title race, we need now to win against Arsenal, and the gap will be 3 points. Even if we draw the next game and Arsenal regain that 6 point gap, it's not a matter. But to show to Arsenal that we are there, we are also in the title race, we have to win the game against Arsenal. So,
and actually factoring that game is at Stamford Bridge. That
yes,
game is at Stamford Bridge.
Yes. And I think for the return from the international break, we need now to have that momentum. The first game is against Burnley. It's not a high pressure game, but we need to win that game. We need to be confident, because after that game we have 2 tough games against Barcelona the same week, and then Arsenal. So hopefully with the return of Fofana, I hope that our defense now can start having those clean sheets and to do not concede those silly goals.
Yeah, thank you, Isaac, and you've really pointed out something that is super, super interesting with that. And one thing that you've said is that, in my opinion, I don't even want to focus on the games about Barcelona or Manchester United. I don't like focusing on that. Burnley is the next game. Do not look at Burnley and look at Burnley as 3 points. Do not look at Burnley and look at it as an easy game. There's one time, I don't remember which league, which season it was. It was Manchester City were playing Fulham away, and people were shocked that Pep is really worried. He's scratching his head. He's looking at the game, he's thinking, and he looks frustrated, and people are like, why is he frustrated and he's going to beat this team 5-0? You see, with Pep, he takes every team seriously. Take every team seriously. Take every game seriously. Do not come and start saying, oh, it's Burnley, it's a promoted team, we can win, let me play Hato and Tosi. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
If you have to rest Fofana, play Chaloba. Win that game in the first half. Once you've won that game in the first half, now make the substitutions. Do not wait to lose the game in the first half, then make the substitution in the second half. No, I don't like that. If that is one thing that I dislike about Maresca, is that. Because I've said that this team is good. He is a very good coach. He's a very good tactician. I don't doubt him. That one I said, I don't doubt him. He's a good coach. He's a good man manager. He's a good tactician. But the attitude of always trying to please everybody is what is going to cost him. That is what is going to cost him. Pep will play Haaland on man or in that Premier League game. He will play him in the Champions League game. He will play him in the other game. Please, Maresca, if you even have to rest Wesley Fofana, then play him in the first 60 minutes in that Burnley game. In fact, Fofana has rested for 2 weeks. He's not gone away with France. He's been resting for 2 weeks. So allow them that space. Players like Caicedo, I'm really tired of these international breaks because we're having players who have to travel all the way to South America and then they have to come back and they're playing needless games. They have already qualified.
Yes.
Why do you have these players playing these games? I don't have a problem with international break. In fact, I believe they should be there. But they should be there to also allow players to rest. You've already qualified. Why do you need a player to go to the international break? England is winning all.
You've raised a very good point. You've raised a very good point. You know, when I'm watching even Arsenal, I think the last game Arsenal played in Champions League, it was against, I forgot the team, but I saw them playing, and then the next weekend, it was almost the same team on the pitch. That Zubimendi is playing like every game. Declan Rice is playing like every game. I think Calafiori.
Yeah, and I think even the centre backs are playing the same game, and that Zubimendi guy is the one dictating that Arsenal's midfield.
Of course. Now is the one to be under radar when you are playing Arsenal. Then when I'm seeing like Pep Guardiola playing Erling Haaland like every game, but when it comes to Chelsea, you are going to play Karabakh. Then they just call the academy players to play those games and to bring on this Jorel Hato, who actually disappoints me a lot. I'm just thinking if in the transfer window, in the next transfer window, we should go into the market and look for a new left back, because Jorel Hato, on my opinion, that guy should be sent to Strasbourg to learn how to play before he gets a place in Cucurella place. So that's what I think. But overall, we are in the good position now. Everything is in our hands to manage, to build that momentum, and I still hope that we are in the title race, and by April or May, March or April, we should definitely know if Chelsea is going to win the Premier League or not.
In my opinion, I wanted to check with the Christmas period. I believe in the I still believe in the December curse, the Christmas curse at Chelsea. There are some grounds that we are yet to go. The Goodison Park, the new ground that Everton are playing. Damn, that stadium is beautiful and it's so compact. Like when the noise is there, you can feel it on the ground. So it's going to be a tough game. I think we have not played Newcastle. Tough game. We've not played Aston Villa. Another tough game. We really have. I think all games in the Premier League are tough games. But there is a banana skin there. There's a banana skin in that Everton, Newcastle. Newcastle have not been quite well this season, but I still can't write them off at St. James's Park. That is one ground that we have really started.
One thing I can suggest to Maresca, we need to know how to approach the low block teams and the teams which are playing.
the reason we are struggling against the low blocks, it's because we are approaching the games from in the same way. We cannot approach the way the game against Arsenal or Liverpool the same way we approach the game against
Lower
Brentford.
block teams.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will do a video on that. I will actually try to do a video on that because you've really raised a good point. And when you're looking at looking to attack the low blocks, it's generally to do with the wingers because recently we have not struggled against this low block. No, we struggled against Sunderland and we struggled against Crystal Palace and Brentford. Now, one thing that I noticed is that when you are playing against high blocks, that are teams that are pressing you high and they're giving you space, what you need is that you need that threat in behind. And I'm going to do a tactical analysis video on that because if you have two pacey wingers, probably you have Garnacho and Neto and Dilap, players who are constantly making that run, where you are constantly playing balls over the top and they are making those runs towards that ball, then you are able to destroy high blocks because they'll have to make a choice. They either play with a high line and have balls being played over the top, and where players like Neto, Garnacho, and Dilap can really hurt them with making runs, or they have to drop their lines. And now when they drop their lines, they now create spaces in between the lines so that players like Cole Palmer can actually get those balls. Players like Fernandez can get those balls. So that is how you play with high blocks. You have to have extremely fast wingers because they are going to have the ball. When you play Manchester City, Garnacho and Neto. When you play Arsenal, Garnacho and Neto. When you're playing Liverpool, Garnacho and Neto. But when you're playing Sunderland, when you're playing Everton, when you're playing these deep structured blocks, Estevao and Gittens. Yeah. Gittens is a good player taking on players. He can take on players and he likes to link up. He likes to pass the ball to Fernandez, pass the ball to Cucurella. He plays similar to the way Sancho used to play. So when you're playing against deep blocks, then you heavily rely on individual. That's why when you're playing teams that sit deep, when you bring in Estevao, you'll find that Estevao is that player who will take the ball, pull two defenders to his side, and create space. So it is striking that balance, and Maresca needs to understand that balance. And I think he has a very good attacking squad because he has two types of wingers. He has pacey wingers who are very dangerous when you're facing high blocks, and then he has good technical wingers when he's facing low blocks, especially when he's facing low blocks. Teams that decide to sit deep have Estevao start. If you are looking to dominate the ball, have Estevao start because Estevao is that player who's going to take that ball and look to take on his man. He's going to take that ball, look to attempt a shot. He's going to take that ball, look to make a pass, make a cross, make a cutback. So I really hope that he learns that. And that's why I'm hoping that these 2 weeks will enable him to actually study the team more and understand. And also when you're playing deep blocks is when you can look to when you're looking to play these top teams is when you can look but generally Tosin, I wanted to make an argument for Tosin, but I'm like, he can't be helped whether you if you play a deep block, he will be countered, he will not be able to win his 1v1.
There is another thing which I notice. When we are playing low blocks, and that's happened against Brentford and Sunderland, they are all in defense. We try our best and we score the first goal. Now, you know what's coming after that moment? We gave those opponents, like Sunderland, the victory, and we gave Brentford the draw. We struggled to score that first goal. We struggled a lot, but unfortunately, we scored. Then we keep doing the same to score the second goal. Of course, we must score the second goal to be secured, but we keep doing the same things, like trying in the same way. And they use the same tactics when we scored the first goal. They use the same tactics when we lose the game, so to go in counter attack and score against Chelsea. But when we keep the same structure after scoring the first goal, so they have the same plan. So they keep doing the same plan to equalize against Chelsea. What if after scoring the first goal, so because they want to equalize, let's wait for them to come and pick up the ball from our defense, so the space will be open. But what Chelsea is doing, so they keep doing the same things. The same things we did to score the first goal is the same things we keep doing to score the second goal. And that is up to Maresca. If we are ahead, if we score the first goal, okay, now they want to equalize. Let's keep them to come, look for the ball from our defense, and of course the space will be open in their defense. I don't know if you catch what I mean.
Yeah, but that's not the philosophy, Maresca. For us in Maresca is attack, no surrender. Just keep attacking, because that is their arrogant point of view. I understand what you're saying. You were trying to say that basically Chelsea should park the bus, let the other team do the hard work. Yes, I understand that, but the problem was when we attack, how often have we played a low block team and we've just began to attack in numbers, and we lose the ball in the opposition box, and then the counter attack, bang, bang, 3 passes, bang, goal. And this is how often we did it.
But the issue has generally not been with regards to the structure of the attack. The issue, you see, when you are a possession-based football, when you are a high block team, the thing that you need to be spot on with is what we call the counter press. And let me just say something that I have observed recently. Like when I look at the Tottenham game, when I look at the Wolves game, what I have noticed is that we have found ourselves in the same situations, but in some situations we have not conceded. In some situations we lost the ball. Why? Again, it brings me back to what I said: individual brilliance. Caicedo, as good as he is, and as good as the team is, majority of the time when we counter press, we generally win the ball and restart the attack. But sometimes you might find a situation where Caicedo has not gotten the ball. And in that case, who do you rely on? You rely on your last defense. You rely on the last people, and those are your 2 center backs. Now, when you have Tosin and that ball is played over the top, Tosin, you know the way he runs. You know the way he runs. You know how slow he is. You know how slow he turns. You know how his body adjustment when it comes to defending is so poor. Now compare that, because we have experienced the same situation with Fofana. But with Fofana is that Fofana is so fast. Fofana knows how to read that situation. And that is why Maresca can push both Reece James and Cucurella to move forward. Because if the ball will be played in behind Fofana, I'm confident that Fofana is going to get that ball. Fofana is going to win that duel. Fofana is going to win that 1v1. In fact, even if Fofana is not in a position to win it, he will put himself in a situation where the opponent is going to push him and then he's going to win a foul. The opponent was attacking, but Fofana has come in front of the ball and he has forced the opponent to push him, and Chelsea have won a foul. So it is generally the individual players, because the counter press is so super important. That is what Liverpool won the league with. They were the best team when it came to counter press. And even Klopp said this: there is no better number 10 than the counter press, because if you are able to, if the opponent is trying to break at you, because remember, even for that opponent player to play that ball for the counter, it means that that player is not under pressure. But immediately this player receives that ball and is looking to play that ball, and Caicedo is on his face, that situation doesn't happen. But if in that situation it's not Caicedo, or the opponent is able to beat his man, then it is up to the center backs. It's up to Chalobah. It's up to Fofana to do that. And I think even Achenkpong does that. Even Achenkpong defends those situations way better.
Is it any way to sell Tosin in the next?
We got him for free. It didn't cost Chelsea anything.
Yeah, of course.
And he's an old guy, isn't he? Quite old.
He's 28. He's the most senior defender, and he's supposed to be the most experienced. But I'm shocked that even Achenkpong knows how to read those situations better than him.
At 28, you should be at the top. You should be at the top of your game at 28. It's not old.
Yes.
But okay, but it's. I don't know. But I was listening very much to that counter press. You use your strikers to defend by pressing, and but there's been holes in the Chelsea counter press. In this is what it's not just recently. It's been for the last many seasons. This is how Chelsea, we always seem to concede these stupid goals against the so-called non-top six teams. We're always dropping points at these smaller teams. Yet when we play the good teams who play open football, that's when we excel. That's when Chelsea really looks like, wow, what a team. So I don't know.
I wanted to ask you, when you look at the times where we've been pathetic in those counter-pressing situations, it was when the team was new. It was when the team was being built. But recently, I have seen that we have not been having those scenarios. And when we've had those scenarios, it's actually been individual. Remember, it has been individual mistakes. Not the structure of the team. Because even the way Maresca sets it up is that even if the counter press is broken, you are always having two defenders against one striker. You look at the Sunderland game, two defenders. Look at the Fulham game, two defenders. Look at the Brentford game, you always have a +1 in that scenario. The problem is you can have a +1 but they're not good defenders. Yeah. So you find that one defender is not okay. So it's like you are just having one defender over there.
I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how.
Christian, I'm going to make you watch the game with stats. I'm going to make you to be super. I want you to make you like a scientist when you're watching football.
I only believe in the eye test. Eye test. I'm old school. Eye test. I don't numbers and stats, and I just think a waste of time. For me, personally, a waste of time. Okay, I do watch. The only stats I watch, only stats I look at is the stats of Harry Kane. How many goals he scored. So, like again, he scored again two times again. I mean, how many goals is he going to score in one season? Is he going to score like 100 goals? And I bet you even there he will still not win the Ballon d'Or because he's English and he's Harry Kane. So it's that's if I was to ask you here now, both of you guys, who are the top 5 candidates to win the Ballon d'Or for this event when the end of the season comes? Who would that be?
Top 5.
It's quite early. It's really early.
Yeah, but as we speak, as we stand.
London is won annually, and Dembele has just won it recently. So what is going to happen is generally the World Cup has not been played. I think that will play a huge role. Whoever is going to win the Champions League. Sometimes of these Ballon d'Ors are also. I don't take these individual awards so seriously because remember Lewandowski was supposed to win one. Yeah, Lewandowski was supposed to win one. And they wanted to give Messi so that they can get some publicity. So they had to create a new trophy to give it to Lewandowski.
It's all about business. So hang on. Because if you look at it, who has more marketing value, Lewandowski or Messi? Who's going to sell more Coca-Cola? Who's going to sell more T-shirts? Yeah. So, of course, it's Messi. Yeah. So they're not going to give it to Lewandowski. That's not very good for them because they think only money. So they're not going to give it to Lewandowski. One year they gave it to Modric because they felt embarrassed. They kept giving it to Ronaldo and Messi. Those two, so they had to say, okay, we have to break this cycle.
And actually, that time Modric won, Ronaldo had his best season because he had actually won the Champions League and La Liga. In fact, Ronaldo deserved that Ballon d'Or.
Did he not get sent off? He just got sent off. Was it on Friday? He got sent off, or was it Thursday? He got sent off, and then Portugal played today. They won 9-1 without Ronaldo. Ooh, so that's not very. It's not good for his ego. That he once he's not in a team, they win big. And once he's there, yeah, they struggle a bit. But hey, he will be playing. He's like 100. How old is he? He's 40 something, I'm sure.
40.
Yeah. So I just wanted us to probably move on to the final parts because I've really been caught quite early. I've just arrived at home. So I just wanted to get your final remarks with regards to what are your opinions on what do you think Chelsea are going to do between now and Christmas? And are you expecting the December slump? Are you expecting what is going to happen? And I've heard a lot of you talking about Cole Palmer. In my opinion, I've always said if Cole Palmer is fit, he's the second name on the team sheet, second after Caicedo. That's my view. I know you have a different view.
Wait, you're right. But you're right. We just say, but that is under when he's fit and he match fit and he's in rhythm. Yes, I agree with you. But like now, where he's been out for 3 months, that's not.
No. Now we can just ease him in quite well. But yeah, now I can. Cole Palmer is that player. If you can bring off the bench, he wins for you the game. He takes the game by the hands and wins it for you. So I think all of you, I agree with both of you that after him coming back, he will need to be eased into the team gradually. That one I agree with you. But I'm saying that if he is match fit and he is okay, after Caicedo's name, it is his name. After you've written Caicedo's name, it is Cole Palmer's name. Then you look at, is Reece James fit? You add Reece James. Is Fernandes fit? I actually like Enzo. Nowadays, I'm like Christian. I like Enzo. I'm starting to see what
Cucurella. You forgot Cucurella.
Oh, before even Enzo, Cucurella.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. But even that guy, he's become very good. That's his name. This guy, the goalkeeper, Sanchez. As much I didn't like him, but even he's improved dramatically. You can't.
Isaac nodding his head. If Isaac is nodding his head, Isaac is like Mehdi. Mehdi is usually the most negative person I've come across, and then followed by Isaac. So if Isaac is giving you a tick,
yes,
you're in the right direction.
Actually, for the moment, we have Robert Sanchez, Cucurella, Caicedo, Reece James in the team, and you think at least we're gonna have a good game. Now, we were trusting also Achimpong, but I don't know. According to Maresca, is the coach. He judged that.
I think with Achimpong, he's a good player. He's a good player, yes. But again, with young players, I don't like when heavy burden of the team is placed on them. I don't like. He's a good player. I do not want to attack Christian because he's super. He will attack me if I call out.
No, why would I attack? I would never attack you. Never attack you.
No, but I'm saying you'll be like, no, Achimpong needs to start all 38 games.
I don't attack people. I just keep receipts, and
and then you're like, Tyrone. So
So who else? So you said, okay, hang on. So you said the automatic starting players that are unmissable. So you said Cucurella. Who else? You said Caicedo.
The first name before you even think of the lineup is Caicedo. That is the engine of the team.
Yeah.
Without him, there is no team. Without him, he's the one that will link defense to attack. He's the one that will defend the attack. He's the one that will defend the defense. He's everything. He's the best player in the team. And this is something that I told people, that Cole Palmer is not even the best player at Chelsea. That is something that is super interesting, that Cole Palmer is not the best player at Chelsea.
Nope.
I know
True.
the English press gives Cole Palmer all this publicity, and he is a fantastic player. He is a good player. He's a top player, but he's a good, and that just shows how the position that you play can actually influence your publicity, because you'll never see people glorifying a defensive midfielder. You'll never see. He does everything. Even for Palmer to look
Do you,
so
you
good.
remember how they? Do you remember how
That's
they used to
why
glorify
that's
Kante?
why
Remember
I
Kante? He was a darling of the English press as well. Still is.
Yes, Isaac.
that's why I have a problem with the Ballon d'Or. It's because it's the prize only for strikers.
There you
That's
go.
what I also discuss with these young fans, these young men we are seeing now, who are mostly supporting Real Madrid or Barcelona. I always tell them that you guys, I identify people who doesn't know football when they support Real Madrid or Barcelona, because they are in the generation of Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. I always tell them that we are the one who saw a defender to win a Ballon d'Or, someone like Cannavaro. And for them, it's like, how come a defender can win a Ballon d'Or? They cannot understand that. That's why I have a problem with that Ballon d'Or. They are just seeing the number of goals and assists, but they don't see what someone like Caicedo, a defensive midfielder, is doing day by day. I
But
remember
what do those young
I,
guys watch? They watch TikTok. So when they watch TikTok is only about highlights of goals and great
yes,
shots. You don't
why
see
you
TikTok videos of Caicedo running back, tackling. You will never see that, because that's not what the young people don't want to watch. That they want to watch,
yes.
you know.
That's why
And
you can see
also,
that
and
people
also,
were
yeah.
like shocked when they saw Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or. They were shocked.
And that's why
Then
they were making debates that Vinicius has been robbed.
yes,
And but I want to drive you back. You're going into the Ballon d'Or. I want to drive you back to the question I asked as we were winding up. What is your overall, what do you think Maresca should do? What approach do you think he should take in games? And what do you actually think Chelsea can do? Are you thinking that for the first time in many seasons that Chelsea are going to have a good Christmas?
I don't trust on that December curse. I don't trust those things. It's just a period where we don't doing well for some reason, but it's not like every season we must do bad in December. I don't trust that. And I think what Maresca should do now, he should stop overthinking when we need to when we have a game. For instance, actually you highlight that my worry is that when we are coming back from the international break to draw against Burnley, I'm just thinking about that, because from Maresca he will be thinking about Barcelona game. So Barcelona, Maresca should be stop overthinking and play game after game. You never know. Maybe after Burnley game, the corona will come and then they stop the competition for 2 months. You never know. It happened before. It might happen also again. So our concern is Maresca, honestly. Is Maresca. He should win the game against Burnley. That will build a confidence. Imagine we lose the game against Burnley. I think that one can affect the next game, Barcelona and Arsenal. So this is the approach we need after this international break, and to build a momentum. I don't trust on that December curse. I fully hope that this time it can be a good December for us, a good Christmas.
Thank you very much. And you've made a point that I've always trying to make a point. I was even having this with some friends who are Chelsea fans, and the main thing is, and I even said it with my videos, it is the arrogance. It is Maresca's arrogance will be the end of him. That is the only thing. Do not look at the game after the game. Beat what is in front of you. Even if you are playing under 18s, get the 3 points from the 18-year-olds. Even if you're playing under 10s, get the 3 points from that. Once you've gotten the 3 points from that cluster of players, then proceed to play other teams and looking to get other points. So I'm really happy that I've had Isaac and Christian here. I think Christian has dropped out again, but I'm super happy that both of them have been here. And that is what I wanted to pass out today. So I'm looking to actually try to end this live because I think we have probably done 1 hour, 30 minutes, and I don't usually like to stretch it. So I'll be looking to do a video how Maresca can approach a high block and how Maresca can approach a low block next in this channel. So Isaac, I see you are back and you had probably popped out. I was wrapping things up. So I'm saying that I'm going to do a video how Maresca can approach a high block and how he's going to approach a low block and how does the integration of Cole Palmer actually affect Chelsea. I think those are the 3 things that we need to talk about.
Very good.
So what is your, I want just to get your parting shot and as we wrap this up.
Yeah, so it was nice to have this live. I think the last time we have this live, it was like long time. Now it's part of my life. Even at home, they used to ask me, this time you don't have those kind of life. So yeah, and it's very good also to listen from you and from others. Even today, I saw Mehdi is not part of this live. Overall, I think we can have a good season, but as we said during this live, it also depends on how we approach the first game after the international break. Also, the point which we highlight in the defense is regarding the return of Fofana. Hopefully, he can be fit for long. Yes. And from there we can build something. And I remember before he gets this injury, you said it before, it was last season when he was playing in partnership with Colwill. We had a good run during that period. Just after his injury, and we fall. We start having a bad result. That's why we hope that he can be fully fit. And hopefully also now it's on the boards in the next international, the transfer window, if they can also having recruiting some defenders instead of our friend Tozin to have some good defenders. So for the moment, it's up to Maresca. For the next transfer window, is up to the board. But overall, we have a good team. We have to support them, and I think this season might be a good season.
Thank you very much, and I know that you're optimistic that we are going to win one of the two, but we still have to qualify from the group stage of the Champions League. We still have to qualify from that. So thank you, Isaac, and I'll be looking to do more lives. My schedule has been tight, super tight. Even getting videos, it has been super impossible. But I will try to be super active in the coming days. So thanks again, and I'll be looking to do a live probably on Tuesday, and we can now preview that Burnley game properly, and that Barcelona and Arsenal game. Thank you.
Thank you to you too. Yeah, bye.
Okay. So yeah, guys. So that was a very good discussion, and I'm really hoping that you've gotten 1 or 2 things from that. So thank you all for joining us. And if you're watching this video after, I still hope that you're able to get maximum content. So thanks you and see you in our next